Black comrades. My name is Kofi Asamoah-Ababio. I'm a Pan-Africanist and a revolutionary. Yeah, today I'm talking to you about God being a nonsensical God. You understand? The God in the Bible is what I'm talking about. You have to understand that. You see, we were born as Africans, and you are either born into a Christian home or a Muslim home or Islamic home, you understand? Well, we were told about so many things. When you go to the church, they tell you about going to heaven, sowing your seed, paying the tithe, and giving money in the name of God and all of that. We have heard all these things, and the church teaches about all these things, you understand? So hey, I remember what Paul said in Corinthians. He said that when I'm a child, I did everything like a child. When I became a man, I threw the childish things away. Then I became a man. You understand? So when you're a child, you listen to all the nonsense. But when you grow up, you have to just start questioning everything. You understand? So they tell you about heaven, they tell you about hell, they tell you about witchcraft, they tell you about Satan. You understand? And they tell you that you have to store your treasures in heaven. Not only that, in fact, they tell you about Jesus Christ, the second coming of Jesus Christ. There are so many things that the church teaches us. But hey, are we asking the questions? But because if we are asking the questions, we should be asking about how the hell did people get to get the pictures of angels? We know for a fact that angels are spirits, something that you cannot see. Satan is a spirit, something that you cannot see. And when you read Revelation, they tell you about a war that happened in heaven between the angels, and Satan was cast to the earth and all of that. These are some of the things that we've had more of the time, you understand? So hey, we are asking the questions. How was the name coined? How was the name Satan coined? How was the name angel coined if these things does not exist in physical life? You understand? Yeah, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. You understand? So anything about this God doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all, because when you listen to what this God have been doing in the ancient of days, he had to open the earth for people to enter the earth so that he can close it. He had to tell Noah to build an ark so that he can destroy this world. How can a God who created mankind destroy us? It doesn't make sense. The God who created us cannot destroy us, because when you read the same Bible, they tell you that God created man in his own image. And if God created man in his own image, then how can God destroy us? Is it God who is destroying us, or is the activities of man? Because for generations, it is the activities of man which is destroying this earth. I can cite Ghana for example, because the Galamsey activity is destroying the earth that we are living on. It's destroying our water bodies. It's polluting the air. It's polluting the water bodies. People are drinking and are getting sick. So who is killing us? Is it the God in the Bible, or is the activities of man? So when you listen to all these things that this God says, and he talks about coming to destroy us in the end of time, a beast which is going to come, we are asking, how did these things came about? I believe that, hey, this is a colonial project. This is what the colonial masters sat down, thought it through, and presented it to us as fact. These are lies. These are falsehoods. You understand? So I don't understand the reason why the academic community in Africa still bow to this bullshit, this nonsense. I don't understand why people go to church every Sunday to listen to these craps. Because these are bullshit, these are nonsense. There is no heaven to go, there is no hell to come, there is no evils, there are no Satan, there are no angels. Because these things does not exist in the real life. Who saw them? Who gave the account and all of that? And you hear that you have to store your treasures in heaven. Storing one's treasures in heaven. How can you do that? Do you know the meaning of treasures? when they talk to you about treasures, what are they saying? They are telling you about the gold that you keep in the safe, the diamonds that you have been keeping. That is treasures. Your cars, the buildings, the mansions that you are living in, that is treasure. These are the treasures they are telling you to store in heaven. How can you store these treasures in heaven? How? Because this is a plain test. Store your treasures in heaven. You don't need spiritual guidance to be able to interpret this. That is what they tell the people. When you start questioning them, then they say that no, you have to be spiritual. You don't have to think with your head and all of that. Store your treasures in heaven. It means store your television set, store your gold, store your diamonds, store your bauxite, store everything in heaven. How does it even make sense? If this God wanted us to store our treasures in heaven, then how can this God put gold in the soil? Why didn't he put gold in heaven? Why didn't he put diamonds in heaven? So that we do not work here, we come here, then we give birth, then we hustle, then we stay in poverty. Because once there is no gold to dig, once there is no diamond to dig, once there is no money to spend, once there is no nothing, once we do not have television, this place will be like a typical bush. So that we can come to heaven and come and enjoy all these things. Then you later realize that in heaven you cannot even feel. You cannot feel. There is no sense of touch. You cannot have sex. You cannot make babies in heaven. You cannot drive cars. You cannot even eat food. So in a nutshell, heaven is for the dead. Exactly. Heaven is for the dead. How can we live a life and say that we will not work for what we want, we will not work for all the earthly things, but we will just stay in poverty so that when we die we are going to enjoy in some heaven that this God has created with gold and all of that? Does this make sense? Does this make sense? This is what they are doing to us. This is what they are doing to our minds. This is what you go to church every Sunday to listen. That you're going to go to heaven, that you're going to enjoy heaven and all of that. You're not going to enjoy shit. There is no enjoyment in heaven. There is no enjoyment after death. You're dead and gone. You are dead and gone. So how the hell do they keep telling us about all these things and you hear the preacher man? You hear the preacher man saying these things all the time. And people are paying monies for that. And you know what? People like us, this is that we are going to go to hell. People like us, they call us Antichrist and all of that because we don't believe in the nonsense. We don't believe in the Jesus Christ bullshit. How can I believe in Jesus Christ when I'm black? That is what we call mental slavery. The black man believing in the white man. It's the mental slavery. This is the colonial project. This is what they told us. So they teach us to love the white man and hate ourselves. That is why the black man is bleaching his skin all the time. Today in Africa, the women are bleaching. They are bleaching. They want to become white. They don't like their skins. You think what? You think the colonial project is not in effect? You understand? So we have to become antis. We the African people have to become antis so that we can love ourselves. Because it is better to love yourself than to love the white man. Because if you love yourself, you not bleach your skin. If you love yourself, you do what is right. You understand? That is what we have to be doing. Not loving the white man and hating the black man. Like what they teach us all the time. So I'm an anti. I don't love the white man. I love the black man. In fact, we have to love ourselves to be able to build the continent that we want. Africa is in deep shit because of what the white people presented to us. You understand? So when you bow to this white God that they call Jesus Christ, you understand? When you bow to him, you're bowing to the white supremacist laws. Because anybody who bows to Jesus Christ are bowing to the white doctrines. And the white doctrines teaches us to love the white man all the time. And they talk to you about racism. Oh yes, when I begin to speak like this, you're going to say that I'm a racist. But what is racism? So I can't hit the white man head with a brick? Is that what they are telling me? Yes, because if you hit the head with a brick, you're going to be racist. came killing us. Who is more racist than them? In Europe, they are killing us all the time. This is a colonial project. You understand? So don't talk about loving myself and hating the black man. Don't talk like that. We have to love ourselves. We have to love ourselves as black people. We have to teach our children that. You understand? Yes, you have to understand that. Because there is no sense in loving the white man and hating the black man. So, let's love ourselves. Let's love the black man. Let's build a better world. And let's stop listening to nonsense. Because there is no heaven to go. If you keep believing in that nonsense, you're going to be poor forever. Because that is what the church teaches all the time. Because when the church talks about storing your treasures in heaven, it's telling you that don't work. Oh, that is the sense in it. Because when you store your treasures in heaven, what do you need the treasures on earth for? What do you need the television for? What do you need the cars for? You don't need it, because there are some of these things in heaven waiting for you when you die. Go and drive it. Go and drive the cars that have been parked for you in heaven. Go and drive it. Go and eat the food that have been stored in the fridges for you in heaven. Go. This place is a natural place. This place is a natural place. And this place has always been generational. We come here because of the work of our forefathers. We are here because the work of our forefathers. I'm here because my mother gave birth to me. You understand? My mother is going to die and go. I'm going to give birth and I'm going to die and go and leave children behind. That is how it has always been. There is no distraction to come. So when somebody talks to you about distraction, that person is messing up with your head. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. The African man must emancipate himself. That is what our forefathers taught us. That is what our Pan-African leaders have been fighting for. Well, I'm Kofi Asamoah-Ababio. Don't forget to subscribe to the page. Don't forget to share to other people so that they can get to know what is happening in our world. You understand? Yes, our world. We have to educate the people so that they don't go to church and listen to rubbish.